So good evening, everyone. We are a group of students from IIM Kozhikode, and we are actually trying to understand the future of AI tools on education. Today, for this session, we decided to go with the topic of future of AI tools on not just education, but also training and coaching. And we have a diverse panel with industry experts who would probably try to give us a good idea about how we can touch the surface with the changing technology and how we can transform ourselves as the technology changes. So I would start by introducing our panelists. First up, we have Mr. Suman Rudra. He's a successful HR career for over 2+ decades and has been on many leadership roles. He has led on national and international level with experience of working in India, Singapore, Malaysia, Europe, and US. He's an engineering graduate from Bangalore University with MBA in HR from Delhi University. His area of expertise includes working on multi-country HR strategy, incubating business teams in Europe, Southeast Asia, and South America. He has a passion to identify and develop young HR professionals. He holds multiple certifications, including ICF Professional Coach. He has worked in reputed organizations like NTPC, HCL, Technology, IBM, NCR Corp, LNT, and Byju's. Welcome, sir.
Thanks a lot, Saumya, for that introduction.
Next on the panel, we have Shanti Sharma, who's the founder, coach, and facilitator at Grow with Satori. Shanti is an ICF certified PCC coach, certified mentor coach, certified learning and development coach, NLP practitioner, a transactional and analysis practitioner, and a seasoned learning professional with 26+ years of experience, out of which 23+ years have been dedicated to learning and development. Her experience ranges from end-to-end management of the L&D function to supporting organizational development initiative. Welcome, Shanti, on the panel.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Up next, we have NBV Subbarao. He's a leader in education and edtech. He's an expert in fostering a growth mindset, self-belief, and self-regulation amongst K2 children and educators, as well as fostering environments that are more learning-centered than test-taking cultures. Subbarao is passionate about education, and his mission is to strengthen the self-learning of each student through classroom. He's highly sought after educator and mentor and is regularly involved in teaching mathematics. As a pioneer in the field of educational technology, he possesses a one-of-a-kind experience in maximizing students' potential for learning through the use of technology. Through his practical and empowering talks, he helps student and educational organizations reach their learning outcomes. He furthermore research students' different ways of learning and enhances teachers' delivery. So welcome, Subbarao.
Thank you so much, Saumya.
Okay, now I would hand it over to Manoj to kickstart the discussion. So over to you, Manoj.
Thank you, Saumya. And I think, with the kind of panelists that we have on the call, it's really overwhelming. And I think I thanks all of you to be here. My words will probably be less, but still, I've got the responsibility to start, so I'll do that. And so yeah, I mean, as a group of students, we thought, what to talk about, what to, delve into. And since right now we are doing our MBA and is education, and then, probably one of the most important area of or facets of human civilization. And well, AI has always been there in some form or the other, even I think during BC and even before. Right. And it has grown with human intelligence going into different areas. I think the AI has grown. right? And therefore we want to evaluate how it is going to whether it is going to enrich us, whether it is also having the negatives, how is it going to impact the society overall and education in particular. And we have seen that there are two very important things about human beings. We keep saying that change is the only constant, but at the same time we are also resistant to change. And we have seen that time and again when computers came, when steam engine came, and probably same question applies to AI as well. And therefore we want to get together with the experts and with all of you and try to find some direction. I mean, obviously, to try to find out an answer. The answer is not so simple, but at least we head into that direction. So, thank you all for joining in. Thanks to the panelists. And I would like to start, with the first question that we have, which is, uh, how is AI and the like of ChatGPT going to impact education, training, and coaching sector? And do we think that it'll be more beneficial and it'll augment the existing system, enhance the existing system? Or do we see that it has more negatives, it'll be more disruptive? Um, that is the first question that we would like to seek answer from our panelist. So, and I would invite all of you, but we can probably start with Shanti ma'am.
Thanks, Manoj. Lovely question. And I think you have already uh, touched upon the nerve. Any change that comes about is always met with resistance, whether it's going to help us, whether it is going to not help us, whether it is going to cause certain roadblocks or not. I think very similar. Any AI tool will also cause all of these discussions. My personal view is that it is only going to enhance in all the fields, whether it is learning, training, education, coaching. Will there be roadblocks? The answer is absolutely yes. Do we have to fear the children will stop thinking and will find answers from ChatGPT and complete their homework? The answer is yes. Will the basics of, can I get into ChatGPT and get a few answers for maybe a content piece that I'm putting together? The answer is yes. But we have to be mindful that all of this is IP'd. It is ChatGPT cannot, or the likes, any AI tool cannot create its own content. It is only curating content from the various sources it has got. So as long as we're using it mindfully, I think we are in safe hands, and we are intelligent enough to create ChatGPT. We are also intelligent enough to know how to use ChatGPT. That's where I would stop.
Okay, we would request Suman sir to add his thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Manoj. Well said, Shanti. I think it's a kind of a step in the right direction, the way you kind of position the AI changing our lives. What I would say is, friends, that see, we have seen technology impacting our lives in the last 2 to 3 decades. Sometime back it was e-commerce. Now we are buying even houses online. Okay, you can buy anything online. So there is always a euphoria of a new technology coming in. Similarly, some time ago, we had this. I would say none of us could dream of even getting things that we do at today at flick of a button. Be it ordering medicine, be it ordering consulting a doctor, be it ordering food. I mean, except for I would say driving, which is also under serious consideration. I think rest all we can do at the click of a button. So I think it is it is very evident that it's going to impact each and every part of our life, including learning and education. And I personally believe that the technology is going to be an aid to improve the learning ability of students. Because if you see, in fact, I would see the opportunity to impact is much bigger here. Because if you see the way learning and education has happened in the last 2 to 3 decades, it's largely the same. Okay, so teachers or professors teaching in classrooms, and then giving assignments, and there is, test happening. So I think transformation actually, has not yet happened. I think there is an opportunity to transform, and which is going to be win-win for both students, teachers, academics, and for everybody. So I am pretty hopeful.
Thank you, sir. Subba sir,
Yes, sir.
your words.
Yeah, well said. So, as Mr. Manoj said, like AI tools accessible before too, but ChatGPT has sparked an intense debate about the role of AI models. So, when we are discussing about AI tools in education aspect, so the answer is like a knife with two sharpened edges. So, like Shanti madam said, yes, the students may do homework using ChatGPT. So, there is a possibility. But how we will raise the children to meaningfully use this ChatGPT? Because I would like to share one personal experience in this context. A few years ago, I was waiting for my turn near an ATM one day. Uh, there is next to the ATM there is a shop. So when a little cute girl was doing her homework, so her presence and her working style impressed me, and I took two steps towards her. And I noticed she was doing mathematics. So as a mathematics educator, I was so impressed and excited to see how she was doing. So then I took the two more steps, and I was so close to her. And then she was really shocked. So why really shocked? She was maybe probably first grade or the second grade student. She was doing a mathematics, addition and subtraction. But she was using a calculator and completing her homework. So this is the one scenario. And afterwards, from there I headed back home, stopping while on the way to buy some fruits from a street vendor. It appeared that he had no formal education. He gave me what I requested and counted the money with his calculator. The second example, he used a calculator because it is a necessary to use the calculator. It's the best use of the calculator for his livelihood. But in case of the small girl, so how her calculation abilities will transform later in the stage? So that is a big question. So like something like it is like a knife with the two sharpened edges. So here, what I feel, the great responsibility lies primarily on educators and educational system to equip students to make a mindful use of it with caution of ethical implications. So then definitely there is a long way to go, and there is a wonderful way to use a chat GPT in different stages of learning. So as questions progressed, I think we can go ahead with beautiful ways how we can use the chat GPT.
Thank you, sir. So yeah, I mean, I think you know, beautiful things that has come out with the answer to the first question, and I think education. You know, typically when we think of education, we think of classrooms, we think of institutions, but probably education is everywhere. And when we think of education, we are thinking of maybe people going to colleges, higher classes. But like you said, sir, a small girl or a vegetable vendor, everyone is getting educated, and it's actually the scenarios around us which teaches us, along with the formal education that we have. There is an informal education also, and keeping that creativity around, keeping that ingenuity around, and still evolving, and making the education system better. How do we think, how do you think that AI will help maintain that creativity, personalize education for students and professionals? And what are the different areas? Example, language learning, or example, people with disabilities, right? Of late, or rather, I should use the word specially abled. How is AI going to improve life, improve education for people ranging from kids to people who have not gone through a formal education, and all range of people who are learning. So probably Suman sir, will start with you this time.
Thanks, sir. So see, the thing is, the way education is being currently imparted is basically, being in school and even in colleges is largely curriculum-based, education, in which there is a defined curriculum, and then people have to study, the curriculum, and then there is a kind of assessment at the end of the academic curriculum. Now, I think there is an opportunity to expand the horizon of education beyond curriculum. Okay, and here we are talking about more education, which is more application based, which is more focused on the employability of a person, which is more focused on the things that industry or the business or the community or the society needs. Okay, so and to create a new curriculum, I mean, you would understand that it takes a lot of time and effort. Okay, and it's a very lengthy process. It's a it's a long process. So I think there is an opportunity to use AI to speed up, the process of creating curriculums or creating courses as needed for the business. Okay, so for example, today, if a computer science student needs to be taught AI, okay, so getting a professor who is equipped in AI or a PhD in AI is totally very remote. Okay, so how can he be taught AI? Okay, so there is an opportunity to use AI, to teach the AI. I mean, I'm just giving an example. And similarly, there's an opportunity to use AI to teach any other part of a curriculum which is emerging, which is developing, for which the courses and syllabus are not yet geared up, but it needs to be done because the industry is moving. That's the space in which I think one space in which AI can be very rightly used as per my thoughts.
Okay, Shanti ma'am.
Sure, I think speed has been very beautifully covered by Suman. Yes, AI is going to get us that head start rather than spending so much time on the groundwork, which does not require skill. Couple of examples that I've actually used ChatGPT for in the very recent past was I was creating a course and I was wanting video clips. Earlier, I would spend probably 5 to 6 hours searching very contextual video clips on YouTube. I'll have to watch every video clip at least until 50% and then decide whether I want to watch further or okay, not relevant to me, and then discard. When I searched on ChatGPT with the keywords, can you give me movie clips that demonstrate this concept? First go. And I just said, okay, can you give me a Hindi movie? First go. And it just happened. So what I would have spent an entire half a day, probably a day, trying to look for the relevant video clips, it just gave me in a matter of minutes. So speed definitely is there. In terms of customization and creativity, two things I would like to say. Yes, it gave me the video clips, but I had to still apply my mind how to use it contextually, what part to play, what part not to play. If there is something contradicting to what I'm teaching, sharing, how do I compensate for that content that is I'm showing? So yes, ChatGPT will throw what is available, but as we are reproducing, representing it, we have to be very mindful of how we are using. The other thing that I've been experimenting with is how can ChatGPT help in coaching, and it is amazing. I truly believe training, coaching, education should be democratized and should be made available to as many people as possible. This is one way where the basics of coaching, basics of training can be democratized and made available to as many people as possible. Typically in a coaching conversation, we'll say, okay, what is it that you would like to talk about today? The coachee will bring a problem statement and we have a set of questions that we ask them. ChatGPT asked me, though, when I pretended to be a coachee and entered, this is what I want to talk about. I took a very simple delegation specific problem as a people manager, and it so nicely it gave me responses. And in today's day and age where people can't afford tens of thousands of rupees to be spent on personal coaches, I think it's a great way to make it available. Can it also do high-end coaching? The answer is no. It is not able to understand because there is no voice, there is no tonality as of now. It can't understand what I'm trying to say, my emotional part of it when I'm keying in text. So yes, there is a long way to go, but at least the basics being made available to everyone is absolutely doable. So cost, speed, customization, and creativity are the four things that I think are things to look forward to.
Thank you, ma'am. Subba, sir.
Yes, sir. So here I have a different opinion on the personals because the tools are related to the personal learning, right? This is my one of fascinate area. You need to give more time for me here. So personalized learning. So ChatGPT or AI tools and personal learning. This is a big subject here because there are many areas to help each learner. Because nowadays the learning is no more related to just classroom. So learning became it's like learning is a part of the life. So we need to raise our student in such a way that learning is a part of lifelong learning. So otherwise, people will not stand. So here, ChatGPT, like AI tools, would help immensely to progress by themselves. So here, let us see the four stages of learning process. Simply, it is like the first one is a learner will learn from a tutor or teacher or through book, whatever the possible ways. That is the first stage. The second stage is from that learning, this learner will comprehend in his own way, and afterwards he starts self practice. So he will practice what he has comprehended through the learning. The third stage is the self-assessment. So after learning, we check ourselves as a learner how much we comprehend, how much application and analytical skills we have achieved through this part. Now, the fourth one is the evaluation. That may be self-evaluation or evaluation by the universities or by certification organization, whatever it might be. So these are the four basic stages. So here, these are the first two stages. One is the learning from tutor or teacher or through any source. Or the second part is the self-practice. These are the two areas where AI will help immensely, what I believe, in coming days. So nowadays it is just giving information. Maybe coming days, functional artificial intelligence or application artificial intelligence or analytical AI would also come into the picture, and it will help in the large number. So nowadays, as Santimam said, nowadays the problem is yesterday's problem was the data inaccessibility. Now today's problem is the overwhelming data. So then how do we get? So as ma'am said, after working 5 hours, we could not get, we will not satisfy what we have done this 5 hours. So, but whereas in a chat GPT now, so we would get a succinct information what you need when we ask correctly. So that is a one big advantage. So we can counter the problem like with overwhelming data. So we will get the necessary information with one click. So that is a one thing. The second one is the real problem in the learning nowadays is personalized learning. Many people, many organizations, the giant edutech companies, so the giant educational institutions will say personalized learning is a part of their process. But frankly speaking, it is a not nowhere. It's a part of any organization as of now, except a few, because the student and teacher ratio, even anybody wants to make it, due to the student and teacher ratio, that personalized learning will not taking place because each student will cater 200 to 300 in our India. So how can a teacher will go and check each student's perspective on each and every point what they learn? So that is not at all possible. But definitely your ChatGPT or AI tools would help, would have an immense role to make it a possible in coming days. So that is one big area I wish I dream to help my children using these AI tools in the coming days. So these are the few points regarding overwhelming data and how the ChatGPT will help, AI tools will help in the personal learning, provided the students are tried in the best way.
Thank you, sir. So I think, yeah, great answer. And so, sir, I mean, like, you have been fostering, mindset. You have been in in this area of uh, innovation with respect to personalized learning and helping children, as well as grown up children, from KG to 12th and so on. So you have been in this area. And you talked about personalized learning, and I believe in any kind of learning, personalized learning is a very essential and integrated part. We all do that day in day out, whether it is small kids, whether it is we grown-ups. So personalized learning is there, and we have seen education evolve with things like open book assessment coming up, and it is there in many of the universities in India. It is also being accepted widely now. So similarly, I think from a personalized learning perspective, also like you already said that the like of ChatGPT has a great role to play. But still, given the fact that it may still not be of age, how much do we rely on tools like AI? So my question is it already mature, or is it going to play a big role and impact the existing assessment patterns, assessment systems that we have in place? And is it going to aid to things like open book exam? Is it going to be detrimental? Is it going to make life tough for academicians, for professors, for institutions? Or how do we utilize this going forward? So I'll start with you, Subha sir, this time, and then we'll go to other panelists.
So I would say we would not say that it will detrimental the whole system, but I could say we need to take a precautionary steps. So new framework has to be taken into the system in order to use that challenges, in order to counter the challenges what we would get through ChatGPT. Uh, as we discussed, like a personal learning, so it gives a completely strong and gray areas of each student when we learn. So because the problem in learning process is any learning, initially it would be a discomfortable. So the discomfort is a normalized through the effect of instructor and information, or what we could say the material what we have. Then the discomfort normalizer will make the learning to the next level. One secret here is in the learning process is once a student get a credit of its learning, credit of learning means a progress in his own learning. Anybody has noticed the progress in our own learning, so that process will take in place to the next level, So here already through ChatGPT, yet the problem is how we will train the students to effective use of this. So because always we are inclined to the comfort zone. So whenever instead of thinking with our own mind, so when the answer is with one click, so always most of the people inclined to. So this is a big challenge initially. When we counter the challenge, automatically the next step will take in place very easily, what I feel. So just we need a framework. It's not, it will not affect much.
Thank you, sir. Shanti ma'am, over to you.
That's a very interesting question. I've got kids who are schooling right now. I studied in CBSE where we had to rote learn all the formula before getting into the exam. And my son is studying in IGCSE. He doesn't learn any formula. He doesn't learn any constants, any values, because all of that is already given in the question paper.
Gotcha.
Smartness in how the student appears in the exam is how they are able to use the values, the data, the formula given to them. And it is all about application. The questions are not simple. You can't just study one chapter and answer. You have to combine concepts of multiple chapters to be able to answer. I think ChatGPT is going to aid. And yes, it can provide answers, but if the student is not sharp enough, intelligent enough to know how to use it, it is useless. It won't help the student. Are we already into open book exams? The answer is yes. In most corporates, real life scenarios are given here, go solve it. And when that go solve it happens, people are referring to people are referring to books, internet. All of the assessments in real life are open book. So my my feeling is that it is only going to help children really know how to use these tools in their daily life. And I truly believe, after seeing how my children are studying, that I don't use any of those formulas in life really. What I'm using today is practical use of a computer, practical use of a calculator. Had I started learning all of this tens of years earlier, I would have been much quicker. I'm still not as digitally savvy as my son. they are just 3 or 4 years into computers and they're already there. So yeah, I think it's just how to use it is what is going to change. Open book is already there. That's the way of life, is what I feel now.
Thank you, ma'am. Suman sir.
Yeah. So, Manoj, the thing is, see that this tool as of now, is in the process of evolution. I think I just heard out there moved into video search and something like that. So it will take some time for tool to come up, in a way that it can be, I would say, safely and satisfactorily being used, as per, I would say, the academics requirement. I mean, today it is like, so like, for example, we had WhatsApp for us. Now, after a few years, we have WhatsApp for business. Okay. So it's an evolved tool. Okay. And it has other features, but one has to pay for it. Okay. So hence, ChatGPT is not going to be free. Okay. Now they're giving the free version with just few features. But when somebody wants to, like, for example, university wants to use an ChatGPT for or any other AI for to kind of use for students or even simulative exams, etc., then there has to be an investment made of not just money but also resources and time to customize that AI to suit the requirement of the curriculum or the courses of our students. So it's not it's going to be an evolutionary phase in which this after this investment, then it will come to a shape and form. After that, it can be safely used, for the students and with a proper learning outcome. Okay, so we are still in that experimental phase as of now. I think once we see certain, we will still have to see, I would say certain early takers of this tool in the academics. I still don't have, read about any university or any school, college have officially taken it, as a part of something that they want to experiment. They are doing it in their own personal capacity, etc. So it will take some time for any university institution to kind of get into it seriously and put their time and effort and to kind of customize that AI experience so that it can be used for the students. And it may be something like a course with an AI. So for example, suppose in an engineering you have an electronics design course. Okay, so then the course may be renamed as electronic design with AI. So something like that. So that's the way it has to emerge going forward. Or maybe in school it may be learning physics with AI. Okay, so it may be one course in addition to what we used to learn computer language. We started from C, C++, and then Unix and all that, and now into VB, VC, and all that stuff. So it has to be introduced gradually into the curriculum in the experimental phase, and once people get adapt to it, then you can move into the next phase.
Sure, sure. Thank you. And I think a very good point, Suman sir, that you alluded to, which was related to the maturity. And I mean, yeah, I mean, when we thought of putting technology to banking, right? The thought was, oh, my money will be gone from the bank account. There are hackers around. And then we started to put in measures to control that, to make it secure. When we started computers, we had viruses, and then we had antiviruses. So there are measures, there are countermeasures, and this is how we progress. And yeah, I mean, like if we have a chat GPT, then probably there'll be a paid version of it, which can be used properly in a environment like a university, and same for students. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Things are going to mature and the scenarios will change, and the thought process around these tools will also change. And that's a very interesting insight. Thank you, sir. So I think that leads us to one more aspect of it, which is the ethical part of it, right? So at this present moment, while probably we still need to see that maturity coming around, there are people, recently we heard a US educationist academician, he said that, ChatGPT is plagiarism, as simply, he put it as simple as that. And yeah, I mean, we keep hearing, is it really helping the learning of student? And similarly, is it really going to help the people who are imparting education? I mean, it's a big world, right? So, is it really helping from an ethical standpoint? Is it really helping us or not? So, what are the ethical implications? If you can probably put in some light on that. So, Suman sir, I'll start with you this time.
See, obviously, a tool like that, which is sourcing information from the web, okay, and reprocessing it and throwing it out to the recipient, is definitely, on the border of, I mean, I would say, I don't think, many of this output is coming with some, classified remarks saying that, you basically all the copyright issue, etc., has to be taken care of by the recipient and things like that. Okay, so I don't think the tool is going to own that responsibility. It's going to be the person. Like for example, if you go and do a Google search, the Google is not going to be responsible for how you're using the tool. It is your responsibility to ensure that you have made you have paid all the copyright. You are adhering to all the copyright rules, regulations, and not doing any violation. So here also it's the same thing. The end user is supposed to kind of use the material as per the law of the land. Okay, and hence the responsibility is squarely on the user here. It is just providing information in a packaged manner which looks better than the way currently the search engines are providing. So from that point of view, definitely responsibility on the end user. And if you move to one level higher, suppose for example, a university or a college wants to use it, definitely they have to adhere to the copyright rules of the day. Okay, so they cannot simply lift up a case study of HBR and then use it because it is showing in chatGPT. Okay,
Right.
or use a paragraph from there. So I think from that perspective, the tool is not going to end. It is the end user who is going to be responsible to ensure that this does not happen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So essentially, yeah, obviously what you're saying is it's an ecosystem and we all will have to take equal responsibilities to make it better. Subha sir, your thoughts on that?
Yeah. See, actually, industrialization reduced the physical work. So this AI tool should not reduce our intelligence. That is the point. So usually, when we get ethical implications of the AI, in student perspective, what could be happened? Initially, they would get a difficulty whatever they learn. Anybody, any learner. So there is an area. So their teachers, educators, and organizations should give empathetic measurements here to train the children, right, to best use of these tools. And so we should make a system in such a way that their learning process is giving a progress to them. So once they have noticed that progress, so all such things will get reduced. So this is what I could say about it.
Ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, I have 2 points. One, will AI tools reduce human intelligence? I don't think that might happen. I'm sure when computers came into the picture, there was a huge ruckus around, okay, people will be jobless. What will people do? What will typists do? What will stenos do? They just evolved to doing different things. Then automation happened. Oh, because of automation, job layoffs will happen. This thing, nothing happened. We just, as humans, we just evolved and tried doing bigger, more meaningful things than the mundane transaction thing. So my view is our intelligence will not diminish. It will only enhance. We will try and do bigger, better things. And those who don't adapt to that change will be eliminated, will be jobless. You can't help it. To answer the question that you asked, Manoj, around the ethics of it. If we have virus, we have antivirus. Yeah, we've got hackers, we have ethical hackers. So like Suman said, it is going to take a while for ChatGPT to evolve to a stage where it can be used efficiently. It will also take humans a while before they create all of these balances and checks. Even today, there are lots of platforms where you just put in content, copy and paste. It will tell you what percentage of IP copyright issues they are actually, where is it picked up from? And if it is beyond, I think 5 or 7%, even publishers will reject your work, etc. So the tools are there, but they also need to evolve now, because just by changing language and wording, can ChatGPT present you the same content, IP content? The answer today is yes. So how are these antiviruses, anti-hacking stuff, all of these put together, how are they going to evolve? and mature in order to be able to catch all of these. And totally agree to Subbarao also. It is, I think, how we teach our children, how we teach our youngsters, what is ethical, how are they really, is it their work, have they applied their mind before presenting, or they can, it's like, can they draw inspiration? Yes, absolutely. Can they lift and shift? That's not okay. How can we help them understand this part? I think if we do that, it'll be great.
Thank you, ma'am. I have one last question from, so from my side, and then I will open it up for all the people who are here. We'll open up the floor for question. So, ma'am, I mean, you have been in this industry of training, coaching for so long, right? And and we talked about there are so many tools. There are still measures to be put in. It'll evolve. It'll keep evolving, right? In this dynamic ecosystem of AI-enabled tools and services, from an education standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, training standpoint, what are the limitations that we see, and how are we going to, work, taking all of that limitations into our stride? Because it is a very it is a education is a sector where we cannot probably take risk of experimenting too much, because end of the day we have to give information, facts, learnings to people all around us. So we have to be very careful of that fact. So what are the limitations that you see? How do we live with these limitations? It's like, COVID, and then we said, okay, COVID is a part of life. We start living with it. And AI is a part of our life. The inefficiencies of AI may be part of our life, but still, how do we live with that?
We will learn to live with it, Manoj. We will learn to live with it in a very, very smart way. The way we don't even know we are using AI in almost everything. All our phone apps are AI driven. You go on Amazon and look for a particular product. Amazon, your phones constantly listen to you. If I'm talking to my family member about a particular gadget or a tool, immediately YouTube or Facebook, they'll all start giving me the ads of the exact same product, different rates and all. It is eerie. Are we living with it? The answer is yes. Do we have those security measures put? I won't allow people to access my contacts. I won't allow people to access my phone data. Yes, we will do. But at some points in time, we have to allow, because we have to get things done. How do I answer this question? We will learn to use it smartly. It has to evolve. Not only the tool, even humans have to evolve to learn how to use it.
Yeah. I think you already answered that. Yeah. So, Suman sir, over to you for your insights.
Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, so basically, I was asking, how do we learn to live with the limitations? I mean, it's evolving, it'll ever evolve, and there'll be limitations at any point of time, at any stage. But how do we learn to live with the limitation in the education sector, given that it is very critical? We cannot afford to probably give out wrong learnings, wrong lessons, wrong information and facts to students or teachers as well. So, how much do we depend on it? How do we live with the limitation?
So I think I mean, it's basically like a child kind of exploring a new toy that he has got. Okay, so the only thing is that play with the toy, but be aware that don't get into don't make an accident out of it. Okay, so I think that's the key learning, I would say. So I think both everybody can play with the toy. Okay, the toy is available. But the thing is, don't make it so serious that you get into an accident, or you kind of make some critical decisions based on that. So I think we have to be just careful that this is one more input that we are getting. Like for example, today we I would say go and read reviews for even ordering one food item. Okay. So here, this is one more additional input. Tomorrow you may go and do a review in ChatGPT before you want to take a decision of even ordering a food. Okay, but ultimately you are going to use your own mind or your own analysis to kind of do it. I mean, it's your own self-belief that how much to go with what is being said and how much to trust and how much is my instinct which is saying. So ultimately your instinct will prevail, but this is input, and over a period of time develop in this input also. So, like for example, some other people would be reviewing and saying that this tool has actually helped in doing so many this kind of a search or this kind of information. So then the trust is factor is going to be coming more, and then you are going to trust more. So as of now, it's going to be one more tool to kind of help you, aid you in some decision that you're going to take.
Thank you, sir. And last but not the least, Subba sir, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. So, Mr. Manoj, this is one of the great question what I feel among our question list. Because the first one is the limitations. Wow, first we must now go to the limitations while we are using it. I could say first one is authenticity of the data, whatever the data at present we are getting it. So recently I tested our ChatGPT accuracy at the application analytical levels using mathematics as I am expert in it. What I came to know, it makes mistakes at the application level in the same way that people do. So as it is at the initial level, okay. So as time progress, definitely it will get rectified. So we should not blindly use it. So here we need to raise our students in such a way that they should not solely, without logical reasoning, depend on this. So this would unquestionably be detrimental to their cognitive development. So this is the one important thing. At the same time, as madam said, unknowingly we have been living with AI, so with the different tools. So here, without logical reasoning by the user, definitely it will give the difficulties to us. So that's why, and at the same time, the one big caution is it will be a challenge to the cognitive development of our children if we are not train our children in a right way. So that what I could say regarding this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And I think, it has been wonderful hearing from all three of you. Now the floor is open for question, and I see, the first one coming from our colleague Arun. So Arun, go ahead with your question.
Thank you so much to all the panelists. Your answers were great. In school, right, my favorite subject was history. It was not because of the subject, it was because of the teacher. And I have some of my friends who've become doctors now, not because they love biology, because they love the teacher who was teaching the subject. Right. So I want to know more from you guys as to how we can increase this engagement between the teacher and the students. Can I heard Subbarao sir saying about analytics, right? Can we have real-time analytics in class? Can the teacher know how much are the students responding, reacting to what is being taught in class? How can they increase the engagement? So if you could throw some more light on how we can increase the engagement, and how will the teachers know how effective what they're teaching in classes?
Yeah, it's a great question, Arun. Yeah, so the problem in education industry is the assessment tools. So the assessment of the teachers' effectiveness, right? Students' learning. It's not just based on marks, what we could say. So it is just for the certification or something. In my experience, what I have made the 4 points. Like I could say like E, C, G, B. So E stands for the explanation. Irrespective of the teacher, first explanation of the teacher would impact the student. When you see some teachers are not good, they are not disciplined, but their explanation and their involvement in the teaching is great, then students definitely will be fan of that particular teacher. So that's why I kept the explanation as the first point. The second one is when your explanation is right or explanation is great, the students are ready to move towards you. So then the teacher should show care. So the care about the children. So even they do mistakes initially, the care what the teacher will show will attract them to the next level. So once the care is taken, the student really walk towards the teacher. So when student walk towards the teacher, then student is ready to listen the teacher what he says. Then I will say guidance. So the guidance of the teacher should be accurate and it should be up to the student. The fourth point is the encouragement. Even you give guidance because of your influence, student started is a learning, but learning curve is not a linear curve. It is like a curve which have up and downs, right? That is a reality. So people, we train our children in such a way that you don't get any difficulty, just you go like this. No, that is against the nature. So even you, with your guidance, there would be a lot of difficulties the student has to go through. So there we need encouragement. So this is the last one is the encouragement. So what I could say, ECGE. So when we follow, that could be it's ultimately a different classroom. It's not just a wall. It's like a whole world will be in the classroom.
Thank you, sir. Shilpi, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you so much, Shanti ma'am, Subbarao sir, and Suman sir for such informative insights on AI impact on our lives. So I'll not deep dive more into it. So my question is more from the personal end, and I hope it's fine. So my question is, what is the first thing you have asked ChatGPT to do for you?
I asked ChatGPT, what do you know about Shanti Sharma? It gave me weird answers. So I had to then go, what do you know about Shanti Sharma, coach? Again, it gave me weird. I had to put my entire title before it recognized me. That was the first thing I did with ChatGPT.
Okay.
But I think that's still a good attempt from ChatGPT.
Suman sir?
I have started interacted with ChatGPT, but I have been reading other people who have interacted. So I am, as of now, still in the exploratory phase of looking into others' experience.
Okay, but sir, you have to tell us, inform us offline once you started, interacted with ChatGPT. What is the first thing you are going to ask?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you. Subbarao sir.
So just maybe I started with as a mathematics professor, just a question and answer. So check the it's a reliability.
But have you got the right answer?
Yes, obviously at the certain level we are getting the right answer. So when
So are you satisfied?
sorry,
are you satisfied the way ChatGPT actually answered your question?
voice is breaking. Could you repeat?
Sorry, I was just asking, are you satisfied the way ChatGPT actually answered your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Shilpi, I'd want to add, there is an AI called Krishna.ai. If you
okay, ma'am.
the question, it will respond back as if Krishna is responding to Arjun.
Wow.
Pick up messages from Gita and it will address you as, hey Parth, dear Arjun.
Wow.
But the message behind is so relevant. And if you've read Gita, you will know exactly, how they're pulling out management lessons from it and it's sharing. Wonderful thing it's doing.
Wow. I'm going to try it, ma'am.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Copyright name, that's public information.
Okay. Sure, ma'am. I'll definitely try that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Prashant, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, panelists, for joining this webinar and providing an amazing insights this evening. So I have a question about ChatGPT being a closed source technology, which is that technology is not accessible to everyone. So obviously it is a great technology, but do you think this can lead to information insecurity or information authenticity being rigged? So providing a wrong information to the user and information getting modified for the malicious because of some malicious interest. So how we can, do you think ChatGPT is going to be a secure model going forward? So that is my question.
No, it is not secure. It, as Manoj was alluding that somebody said it is. Yeah. What did you say, Manoj? That it is all picked up information, and which is the truth. It is currently sourcing information from across the internet wherever it can find relevant, and it is presenting it to you in a very nice way. It is not like a Google search with 115 links, but rather concised in one particular write-up. It is giving you all the information, but it is IP'd content. Can we, actually Google is also IP'd. When you Google a particular keyword, whatever information you get, not necessarily it is all free. Yeah, but we still use it, refer to it. ChatGPT should be used exactly like that, but it just helps you save time, effort, and money. To answer your question, the free version of ChatGPT exists. People can use it, but it does not have all the functionality of a paid version yet. A colleague of mine has purchased the paid version, and it has, you can talk to ChatGPT, you can send it images, and it converses through images. It is very elaborate in the paid version, but it is still in beta. So we have to wait and see what it can do.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, my question really was about the information that is provided by the ChatGPT. So how can we trust that information that is provided by the ChatGPT?
You have to verify. It is learning from humans only. It is learning from us what we are putting on Wikipedia. Wikipedia has wrong information. It is picking up from there. So you can't trust it. You have to validate the authenticity before you pass it on, move it forward.
Right. So essentially, sorry, yeah, please go ahead, sir.
ChatGPT information you get, please read through the disclaimer lines.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that is very right, because end of the day, whatever we are doing, even when we are learning from classroom, I think we need to apply our knowledge, our understanding, and then take it ahead. So ma'am and sirs, if you have some more time, then probably we can ask one more question. Otherwise, okay. So this is the last question from my side, which is obviously with the boom in AI, there's also a boom in business, right? Which means that every product that is coming up in the market, it's AI enabled, or at least people are trying to claim. So as at least in the education sector or in the training sector, coaching sector, how do people, how do teachers, how do coaching centers, how do institutions rely on this product when someone is claiming, I have a great product for you. I have a great AI product which can help education, which can help boost education. How do institutions rely on this product? How do they assess?
Like we've been doing all these ages, trial and error, look at feedback. If I've learned something that it hasn't worked, it is my responsibility to let everybody know that something didn't work. Likewise, if something worked, again, it is my responsibility to let my peers, my industry fellow mates know that this worked and it works wonderfully well, and we'll build that knowledge together. I can't think of any other way. Subbarao, Suman.
Yes, I agree with you, ma'am. So actually, I would like to share my experience, like examination platform. So I checked many examination platforms around 12 to 12, 10 to 12 examination platforms. Everybody will say, I have 5 lakhs question bank, you utilize, you get this or that. So as we are experts, when we ask a few questions, so to check the level of the questions and how it would help us. So obviously, sorry to say, even no exam platform come to that certain level. So that's why, as mom said, we need to check, then only we need to introduce it.
Okay, thank you. And one last question from our team member, Nagendra, and then we'll call it a webinar.
Hello. Am I audible to?
Yes, Nagendra, please.
Yeah, my question is that the kind of ChatGPT, any large language model, it is very nascent stage. It gives only kind of like textual information, not the kind of like information about the video data sets from that extraction or any kind of image much data sets. Even tabular data sets also has some issues because of the unstructured data sets. So, but still people giving a lot of hype with the technology itself. So what is your viewpoint on that? Even I'm using the ChatGPT in my robot. I come from the robotic company, and that is having conversational AI model. In our chatbot, it is there, but still I'm not much convinced this much hype. Technology requires its maturity level. So that's my question is.
So I could see, as of now, ChatGPT is giving a succinct information to us. It's like when we Google it, you will get a lot of information. So the simplicity of the information as of now in the free version. As Santi ma'am said, in a paid version, it is in the beta form. It has many features. So maybe it has to come. Santi madam, I think.
I'm using the kind of like paid version only. We are
Okay,
paying
okay.
actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've experimented only with free version, Nagendra, so far. It has given me video responses when I ask for it, a video that shows authoritative kind of mentorship style. It gives me a few movie clips and it says, go to YouTube, this is the link, and it says, I have even asked, I need a good image to showcase this model. It gives me images back also. So it has worked for me. In the free version, both links and images. I haven't tried tables though. Very interesting. I haven't come across a question that I can ask that it can tabulate for me. I am going to do that and see what it gives me. It is still learning. It is not accurate. It is not perfect. And I think that's why it's not a full-fledged rollout. They're rolling out beta. They're not there yet. It is still learning.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So the kind of like things what I was talking about, the data extraction from the video data sets, right? So that is the trick is up, and still people are working in the maybe kind of GPT-4. If they will launch, they are going to launch soon. So that may come up with the certain promises what they are promising. So I'm waiting for that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Suman said it's a long way. It's just nascent. We just started.
Right.
And enjoy while it's free. Soon they're going to make it paid once you get used to it.
Obviously, it will get paid.
So maybe it is depending on the company who promoted. So because the smaller one could not be promoted, the bigger companies will give a big hype. That could also be reason.
Right.
Right.
Nagendra, I think you should focus on the road.
My question. Yeah, my no, I missed just settled now.
All right. Thank you, Nagendra. Thank you. Thanks, all of you. Over to you, Saumya, for the concluding remarks here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I would actually take this opportunity to thank all our lovely audience and everybody for, staying for the session and making this session so much more interactive. Thanks to all the panelists for this invigorating discussion, and of course to Manoj for having this engaging discussion. It was really very enlightening, and I myself have a lot of takeaways from the discussion. I'll be taking away that we as humans have developed these AI tools, so we as humans can see how we can ethically use it as well. And the trick lies not in whether we should be scared of using it or worry of using it, but rather the trick is to see how ethically and how ethically we can use it, and how we apply our moral compass while we are taking help of ChatGPT for our day-to-day life. If it is aiding us, it can also be dangerous, so we have to use that. So thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot for the session, and hopefully we'll see you next time for some other informative session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.